So I know that ever since we started getting together, we talked about our influences as this is how we go into the making of songs with these ideas in mind from the bands that we've loved.
This is where it all comes from, really.
Yeah. And you always said, the Beach Boys, right? Right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
What were the other ones that you always loved?
Oh, the Beach Boys, for sure. When we first started, I was really getting into the Lumineers. The Lumineers had the raw, real aspect that I always really, really cherished. You know, the big reverberated sounds. Mix that with Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys production style as far as just layering wall of sound, big, big, big songs, and couple that with the Lumineers' raw, big, open sound. I've just been crafting those two things into our style ever since we started making music. Unbeknownst to me, it just kind of just kept happening that way.
Yeah.
And of course, I love harmony. I loved harmony from the start.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's from the Beach Boys, I would say, too. But also the Head and the Heart. The Head and the Heart impressed me from almost kind of a middle ground. The Beach Boys and the Lumineers kind of put them together. That's how I always saw the Head and the Heart. And that's why I really liked them. And they're a big influence of mine, too.
Yeah. Yeah, melodies, yeah, because where do you think your biggest influence from the melody is? Like the Beach Boys?
Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just the most classic, understood melodies, where it's just you can't not understand those melodies. The melodies are just so classic. I love classic melodies.
Love it.
Yeah. What about you?
You know, I'd have to say, gosh, you know, I started out listening like a lot of more heavier stuff, so Metallica and just the nitty gritty. But as time went on, I knew actual melodies that came into my head that helped me write music was stuff like Coldplay was a huge one. Just the way he had this soaring voice, and you just do all these falsetto things and just all this crazy stuff. I was like, man, I gotta practice that. I gotta figure out and hone my own melody and style. And so I went from Coldplay to, gosh, I love One Republic because Ryan Tedder, that dude, he can sing, but he's got all these different things I'm hearing, and I'm like, if only I could try to match that and then create my own. They were huge for me. So I had to pull away from all that heavier sound of stuff, even though it's still a major influence for how I try to structure songs. And honestly, how over time we've begun to structure songs together. Metallica, they were huge on just having this song start like even though I don't even think you could say it was basic at the beginning of that song, but they always started at this other pace, and then it always built so much, and then to see that translate into how we write the songs and that inspiration comes through, I'm like, you know what, yeah, this is how I want to start to try to write and structure these songs based off how Metallica wrote it, or how sometimes just thoughts and the melodies of, like, say, Imagine Dragons. Sometimes, like with Hercules, that was the first and only song in the album that I was like, you know, I want to try to write a song that has this kind of vibe of another artist, and I wasn't sure who, but then it happened to be Imagine Dragons, and I was like, you know, I'm going to try to imitate structurally how they do their lyrics, but also just because I kept listening to his voice and the way he was singing it, and I was like, you know I can sing more of that deeper tone and do that kind of thing and make it our own song. And so I had to take time and really like just hone in what I wanted to try to do that was similar but obviously not the same, and take that inspiration, and that really helped me and has helped me over this time. And it's just kind of crazy to see how us as songwriters and just taking that inspiration has helped us evolve as our own musicians ourselves.